Okay, I'm going to start talking more on this channel about people with histrionic behaviors. What I've seen in my life, it's more like a narcissistic and histrionic blend. Their behaviors. I'm not talking about anybody's diagnosed. I don't know anybody who's been diagnosed with either. But just the behaviors of it. I'm not diagnosing them, so it's just the behaviors seem like when you read about them, it's in DSM, those behaviors. But and I have over the years, just not on this channel that much. And I want to try to focus on this channel and that, and a few other things, but mainly that, because I've noticed it seems to be worsening lately. I'm running across more and more of them, people in my life or just people online. And I have to say that it's not just women. You know, some people think that women are the same. Women are the histrionics and men are the narcissists. That's not true. Okay, it's not. They're both for both. And one of the things I do know about this is when a person talks about it. I've known this for many years before I started doing YouTube videos, but for many years, since I was a child, that if you talk about what some of these people do, because they're so theatrical, some of them, now this is not a one-size-fits-all in the behaviors I'm going to talk about. Some do, some don't. But some of them, they're so theatrical, so dramatic, that just talking about them, for me, can make me feel the same, kind of dramatic, but it's because their behaviors are dramatic. If that makes any sense at all. It's kind of hard not to be a little dramatic, because it's just sometimes, wow. Okay. Now, my experience lately has been more about women who are very dramatic, and sometimes they're more like this blend, they're more like the mean girls. And yes, I mean, they're adults, but they're like the mean girls in high school. I don't remember how long ago it was when somebody told me that they're called mean girls. And see, I don't call women girls. But I hadn't heard it. It was years ago, probably 15 or I don't know. But I didn't grow up having a group, calling a group of teenagers in high school mean girls. I don't recall anybody doing that when I was in school way back then. But at some point, I guess they did, and they called them mean girls. And it's, you can imagine they're like, you can see it on TV, on shows, when they walk down the hall and they think they're, so tough. And, usually they're really pretty. But what on TV? How often is it? You don't see them very pretty. But yeah, they act like they run the show and all that. And they do. In whatever show, that's what they are. They're mean girls. They gang up on people and talk bad about other people and stuff like that. Well, I see these kinds still as adults. Yeah, I see them, actually see them in person or online, and they're real people. And they just gang up on other people. They make a little group of narcissism, or group, a collective narcissistic group, and or histrionic, as I said. Now, usually, in the past, I had done some videos about it. I don't name names on who's doing what. And the thing about it is, it can be something like a composite, a hypothetical, fictional kind of thing that I come up with. But the behaviors are people of what I've seen in the past or present. But it's not like if you get on some kind of social media site, platform, YouTube or wherever they're showing videos, or just in writing, and you can see a group, they're going to do that. I mean, it's not on everything, it's not 100%, but yeah, I have seen them on various types of social media, and it's not always in video either. And they just gang up for, their kicks. They find it funny. They want to be center of attention. If anybody else, there's various reasons, but like if anybody else is center of attention, even for a second, they cannot stand it. Like I said, the ones I've seen, some of them, oh man, and it's something else to watch. It's like, get me off of this, out of this group, whatever it is. Yeah. But sometimes I'll actually watch them. I will actually, like if it's on video or whatever, just to see what is their goal. And sometimes you might actually be surprised they are the ones who are being picked on. Okay. Think about it. If you were in school and like I said, we didn't call them mean girls back then, but not mine. But if you did see that and say they were against you, and if you had a group and then they decided to go after them, yeah, you got to really think about that, because like it's a mean girl and her flying monkeys. That's what they call them, like narcissistic flying monkeys. I call them narcissistic-histrionic flying monkeys. But like I said, it's narcissistic-histrionic blend for what I've seen. And say the innocent person, the person they're bullying, what are their friends if they all decide to go against them? What would you call them? Flying monkeys or not? Think about it. Pardon the blinker. But I hope I remember to add this last clip to the video I was making, because right in the middle of all that, I had a little dramatic situation. I started talking about that, but I figured I'd make a whole separate video on that, because like I said, I'm so far too often around these narcissistic, histrionic people, and just going out and doing errands, anytime, just going out to do errands, there will be some of this kind of stuff happening, where it's it's something narcissistic, something histrionic, somebody's doing something. It's very, very seldom ever isn't the case. Seriously, it's most often the case. And it's different if I go 10 miles outside of here. Very different, very kind of normal. It's not a bunch of dramatic people, a bunch of, whole narcissistic thing. It actually has a reputation. I did not give it the reputation. It had it when I first heard about it, and that was around 30 or so years ago. The area, they said it was a town in one city, but it's actually an area, 2 areas, where that's the case. It's very, very common. But anyway, I'm going to add this part before I start going and explaining why. I'm going to add that, my other clips, hopefully add this one to that. And then I'll make the other video public too. We'll see. Talk to you on another video.